all right? Like one girl was like, I don't even know if I can go to the bathroom. And I'm like, girl, go to the bathroom. Like, what you talking about? Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. Cosmetic Belgrave here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about my experience going through BMT, the military. Yeah, I know you all really liked my day in the life of the Air Force. So I was like, you know what, let me just put something out here to let you know like my real experience. Like I went through basic at Keesler instead of San Antonio Lackland, like most people. So I'm like, you know what, let me share my experience, you know, so, you know, hopefully people can relate or it can help those people, you know, who are about to join and make that change in their life, which is a wonderful change, really. It has so many benefits and perks to it that people don't really know about. So hope you enjoy, stay tuned, and keep on watching. So I just came back from the beach. Thirsty, I've been real thirsty because I drank last night. So I just came back from the beach and, you know, I didn't really do like full beat face makeup because I was going to the beach a lot. So I'm like, well, since it's summertime, everybody's going to the beach. So why not do a beachy summery look, like go-to for us girls. So I'm gonna be doing that while talking about my experience. Let me tell y'all the whole tea about my experience going through the Air Force. I don't regret it at all. Like, it's one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. I will say that. If you've watched like my other makeup videos, you know, like my go-tos as far as like moisturizers and, you know, lip glosses and all that. But like I said, I'm gonna be doing like a summery beachy look. So it's gonna look like really flawless, effortless, minimal makeup, you know. This was the look that I was wearing to the beach on my last vacation, which I actually vlogged, my Myrtle Beach vlog. That was the look that I was wearing every time I would go out there with my journey through the Air Force. Okay, it's a really long story, but I'm gonna try to make this short. I'm gonna start by moisturizing my face with my Fenty Skin. So I joined the Air Force. I left June 16th of 2020. That's when I got shipped out. I went during the prime of COVID. So I went like, you know, when everything was shut down. At a certain point, they pretty much stopped sending people out, you know, to the military. And you know, like even I was supposed to actually go in 2019 and they actually canceled my job due to COVID. Because the end of 2019, COVID was getting really bad. Then literally 2020 hit, COVID, everything shut down. So I was trying to go medical, but so I had to wait. Like I was trying to do medical, but they made me wait longer for COVID. So if I wanted to go in to do a medical job, then I would have had to wait longer. So when they called me, so I was waiting from like fall 2019 up until the summer of 2020, which is when I left. So they called me, they were like, well, we have an admin job for you. You want to take it or you want to wait for your medical? I was like, you know, I've been waiting this whole time. Let me go. Like, I don't got time to wait. So, yeah, so I June 16, 2020, I was like, you know what, let me go. Cause that was weird. But somebody just walked in by my window. That's so fucking weird. Anyways. So, I ended up choosing admin. And the whole reason I joined the military is for education, so I can further my education, go to medical school. But that's another story for another day. So in the meantime, so I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and leave. You know, I've already been wasting time. Let me go ahead and go. So I took the admin job. So keep in mind, it's COVID 2020, right? Everything shut down. You know, they actually stopped basic training. They stopped it because of COVID. They weren't taking in as many people into the, into basic training to the Air Force. So at this point, they created a way to where they can still get people into basic training, but kind of not as many. So what they did is they started a basic training in at Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi. So they were doing, so usually it's basic training is at one base, which is Lackland in San Antonio, Texas, which I'm sure everybody knows about that place. While I'm talking, I'm not even doing my makeup. Next, I'm gonna take my primer, prime my face. Most people go to Lackland to for their basic training, and that wasn't my that's not where they put me. They put me in they sent me to Keesler Air Force Base, which is in Biloxi, Mississippi. It's 2 hours from Louisiana. So this whole time when I was joining the military, I thought I was gonna be going to Texas. Like, I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, Texas. And then he's like, you know, it's COVID, so keep in mind I'm waiting around for the call. So he's like, you want this admin job? I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So I took it, and they're like, okay. So I thought I was going to Texas. You know, the day of, I thought I was going to Texas. I looked at my flight and it said Mississippi. I'm like, Mississippi? This must be wrong. Why they got me going to Mississippi? I went to Mississippi, and then they told us when we got there, oh, you're gonna be doing basic training in Mississippi. I don't know if I said it, but I'm using this Milk Hydro Grip Primer to prime my face. And I'm gonna be using some Morphe setting spray on my face to give me a hydrated look. I got to basic training and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be in Mississippi. This whole time I thought it was gonna be at Lackland. So I get to Mississippi and I pull up, and I don't pull up. We land in the airport, and this guy is like, you know, in his uniform, and he's like, what's your name? I tell him my name, and then he was like, yes, sir. Like, it's for me to say yes, sir, after he said my name. And I'm like, yes, sir. But he was fine, y'all. He was fine. So I was like, yes, sir. So then I went and I saw like a group of other girls sitting down. And I went over there by them, and they were all like terrified and shit. And I was like, all right. Like, one girl was like, I don't even know if I can go to the bathroom. And I'm like, girl, go to the bathroom. Like, what you talking about? So, yeah, so I land. So once we land, we had to wait for all the other girls to land. And then, and this is so crazy because I didn't even know I was going to Mississippi. I thought I was going to Texas. So then we landed, not landed. So, so after all the girls got there, we ended up getting on the bus and we drove to the base, Keesler Air Force Base, from the airport in Biloxi, which is a really small ass airport. And it was like a maybe 15-20 minute drive, and we don't know what to expect. I'm thinking like this some scared straight shit. Like all the girls asking the bus drivers questions. He like, it ain't that bad. I'm like, and we like, oh, okay. So we get there. Keep in mind, COVID was a thing or whatever. So we get there. And so the reason they took us to this base instead of the Texas base, Lackland, is because of COVID. So we get there, get off the bus. You can see all of them in their uniforms with their hat. Pull up in the bus with the other girls. We freaked out because we don't know. They ain't telling us nothing. Shoot, I don't know what to expect now because I thought I was going to Texas and I'm somewhere in West Bumblefucking Mississippi. So at this point, I'm like, well, I don't sound my rights over. They could do anything, really. So when we got there, there was like some MTIs waiting for us, and they were just like, oh, like standing there, like looking mean as shit. Looking mean as shit, ready to smoke us, like fresh off the bus. But so they were, when we got off, they were like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Like, and then we went into this little camp. They had these little tents set up or whatever because they wanted to make sure nobody had COVID. So as soon as we got there, they're like, does anybody have symptoms of COVID? You know, all the questions they ask you. And tell me why this one girl was like, yeah, I got COVID symptoms. And I'm like, and we all looking at her like, so you mean to tell me you flew on an airplane, got on a plane, you got on a plane, got on a bus with all of us, and you got some COVID symptoms? So I was tripped out for that. I'm like, oh, from that moment, I knew we was about to have a time. We was about to have a time because ain't no way. So yeah, I'm about to do my eyebrows and my eyeshadow. So I knew from then, I was like, oh, this about to be crazy because these bitches over here, they got COVID. But I mean, I guess I understand they wanted to make sure they could leave or whatever, you know, and didn't want to get kicked out. I don't fucking know, but so yeah, that person ended up having COVID. So then that same night, you know, they doing our in processing, getting this settled in. And so everything is different because our basic training was at where they usually do tech school, which tech school is like after your basic training. It's like the schooling portion that teaches you how to do your job. So it was basically there. It was just like across the yard. You know, so basically the setup was like 3 girls to a room. We stayed in, instead of like it being one long hall, whatever, one long bay for the girls to stay in, it was pretty much 3 girls to a room. Like there was 2 bunk beds and 1 twin size bed. And the first day, like I got there, I stayed up till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Then they brought us like downstairs in the front, like at 1 o'clock in the morning to smoke us. They were like, get down on your knees, stand up, get down on your knees, like shit like that. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I was just tired at that point. So, so before I ended up going to sleep, we had to wait for more girls. Cause you know, usually it's about like 50, 60 girls to a flight, maybe 70. But ours, we had like 40 at the time, you know, cause COVID. And so, so yeah, we had to wait, girl. This is so funny, but we had to wait for the other girls to come in, they give us like these little books for us to study or whatever. And the MTI was like, don't fall asleep, don't fall asleep. And at that point, there was only like 10 girls there. Girl, I fell asleep. I fell asleep, and what was so bad, this girl, like, so we were all in separate rooms, separated from each other. And this girl came down the hall, she knocked on my door, she was like, girl, wake up. I was like, she told me she could hear me snoring from down the hall. That's terrible, right? I was real tired, because I didn't even tell y'all MEPS. So like the day before you leave, you go to MEPS. And like, well, that's what mine is. Everybody's is different, but I was at MEPS and I was up since like 5:30 that morning, you know, doing all my processing and like swearing in and stuff. So I was up like all day. So I was so fucking tired, you know, and you know, the night before MEPS, they put you in a hotel. So, you know, that was my experience. So yeah, she told me I was snoring. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? I was tired, girl. Like, I was real tired, girl. I was real tired. Damn, my eyebrow looking like that. So then, okay, so day 1, stay up till 1 o'clock. They smoke us a little bit. Then we wake up the next day at like 5:45. I was like, oh shit, why I did this? Why did I join? Like, they woke us up at like 5:45 the next morning, and I can't remember what we did. I feel like we got up and they made us work out. I feel like, yeah, we got up and then they made us work out. And those workouts used to be a killer. Like, whew, I thought I'll prepare myself, but no, I ain't really prepare myself because I don't know about y'all, but I can push myself to a certain extent, but it's nothing like somebody else pushing you to do something where you gotta do it. Yeah, so yeah, the workouts are about 45 minutes to an hour long every day. Then it's kind of a blur, but I'm sure we still did like some in processing things. Like we went and got fitted for, you know, our uniforms, I believe, and our blues and all that. It's kind of a blur. But like I said, it was very non-traditional because my basic training was at Kiesler. The first night, they didn't really assign people to rooms, so that like, and all the girls were like slowly coming in over like the couple of days. So I believe like the next day they finally assigned us to rooms or whatever. Next day they finally assigned us to rooms. So it was just like a whole bunch of random girls just like meeting and stuff. But so when they came in, like, it was like they were smoked, like they were getting smoked, like they were rushing them in. It was so funny. I forget the other girls who came in. So like the lockers, we have like these lockers to where you gotta open it. And my friend, she couldn't open it. I'm like, oh, poor her. I'm like, here, girl, this is how you open it. Cause you know, when you're under pressure, it's like really, it gets really confusing how to do things. But so yeah, after that, you know, of course we got acquainted, you know, with the other girls. It's usually always like, obviously it's a group of people from all over the world, you know, who have different experiences. They come from different paths, backgrounds, whatever. Usually there's always like an older one. There's always like an older person. There's always like a really, really young person. There's mixed races. There's always like a very athletic one. There's always people, it's like from the same place. It's just so many characters. There's always a really slow one. So it's just really interesting. So yeah, and then you going through this experience with all these girls, you know, some of them you end up becoming really close with. And then so during COVID, luckily they were letting us get like one phone call a week. So I lucked out with that. And oh, another thing, our basic training was only 6.5 weeks. So, you know, usually it's like 8.5 weeks and then you have your graduation. No, this was 6.5 weeks, and we didn't even have like a big, you know, usually graduation is like a really, really big thing. We didn't even have, our graduation was on Facebook Live. And then for our B Suite, usually it's like what, B Suite, and that's like the big thing. Our B Suite was at Camp Shelby, somewhere in Mississippi, like an hour or two away from the Air Force Base. And we spent 2 weeks there. And then also something different from when we did basic training at Kiesler, we didn't have any off days. I mean, yes, Sunday, but I believe sometimes on Sundays we still worked. So, you know, even though it was less time, they still made sure we worked our asses off. And then we still actually had to take the fitness test, you know, even though like they were like not letting people take the test because of COVID. So, you know, we still had to work. So like when I went to tech school, which is like right across the yard, the street or whatever, like there are people like saying, oh, you didn't really go to basic training. I'm like, yes, the fuck I did. Shoot. I remember every single thing I had to do. I'll never forget. So it was one time we got smoked or whatever because we didn't know what to do when there's a fire. And he like, it was so funny because each time he was like, now you know what to do? And then we were like looking stupid. And then he made us run down like 4 flights of stairs like 4 times. And then run all the way out to the field. And this was in front of people. So like, I mean, obviously the military people, they all went through it. But it's just funny because to see it actually happening, you're like, damn. You know, like, I'm trying to remember, you know, everything. It wasn't too hard. One thing I will say is be confident in yourself, because if you're confident and you're strong-willed and strong-minded, you'll get through it. It's not really that hard. They can't hit you, beat you. That's the only thing. I was just like, as long as nobody hit me, I'm good. Fenty Beauty. I feel like I need to blend my eyebrows. Fenty Beauty bronzer. Brows look too bright, honey. Too bright. But yeah. As long as you're strong-willed, the people they pick on, they're usually young. Young people don't really, you could tell they don't know certain things or have common sense, so they get on them, which is good, because when you go into the military, you're dealing with things that can save people's lives and change people's lives and help people in a profound way. So you want to make sure you have people that are competent and understand that, and are willing to do a good job on what they're supposed to be doing. So yep, I'm gonna do a little bit of eyeshadow. So after the 6.5 weeks, like, I had a countdown. It was crazy, y'all. Like, I had a calendar countdown. We obviously graduated, and that's like the biggest thing for basic training is like the graduation, which I never really got to experience because of COVID. But then again, I had like certain freedoms that other people never got. So, and during that time, they weren't letting anybody off of base. So, there was like, hundreds of people going through this basic training and trapped on base. So I met a lot of people, because we were stranded. So I met a lot of people, it was really fun. Like, it was a cool time. They would have like a little bar on base, and then they would have like a marina area where we could canoe and stuff like that, wear bathing suits, have parties. Like, people used to, there was one guy who like had like a DJ set and just like DJ and just everybody would just have a good time. So I met some really good people, made some really good friends. We all went through the struggle together, so it's kind of like, you can't really say. It's just different when you've been through things with people, like you have a special bond with those people forever, kind of, through your experience. So yeah, yep, I had a really good contour just a little bit. I had a wonderful experience going through the military, and then my first base, I got stationed at JBLM in Seattle, and I was just like, what the freak? Like, at the time, so it seemed as though, this probably really isn't the case, it seemed as though they were like doing pairs, like 2 to a room, like giving orders to a 2 to a room. I don't know. They say that's not really the way it works at AFPC, or, you know, when they're giving out assignments, but it seemed as though, because all the girls on everybody on the hallway, when them orders dropped on Friday, they were in the same place, Korea, and then they weren't letting us switch places. So I was just like, okay. So, but my tech school was like 30 days. So I was there for like a month and a half. And so I wasn't there as long as some people. Some people were there for like a year and a half. Like, it was crazy. So I was happy mine wasn't there that long. So I didn't have to, you know, go abide by all those rules for too long. But I had me a little job too on there. I was like volunteering at this little, it was like an arcade thing that they had there and stuff. I forgot what it was called, but it was fun. I was a white rope, if y'all know what that is. Yeah, I had a good time. So, but when I got to my first base, like I said, it was Seattle. My first base was Seattle. I was just like, what is that? Like where? Seattle? So it's Washington. So I thought it was like Washington, D.C. because that's what I wanted. I wanted to go to Washington, D.C. And they were like, Washington? I'm like, oh my God, this is Washington. No, Washington State. Bitch. I was like, what? So I got there. And like I said, it was through COVID. It was so sad. Like, like nobody was outside. It was cold. Like, okay, so imagine I was having a good ass time in hot ass Mississippi. And then you just go to a cold place. It's like, what? Why did it change? Like, I went to a like cold place. It was just crazy. I was in shock. Like, I had to buy all winter clothes. Like, I just went shopping too. I bought all warm clothes. I ain't had no cold clothes, like winter clothes. I wasn't even thinking that it was gonna be like freezing cold. I got there. It was freezing cold. I was just like, what is this? Like why is it so cold? But I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild lip gloss. I bought this from, I forgot where I bought this from, but it's cute. It's like, just look like this. It's cute. So yeah. And when I got there, I didn't know nobody. It was a lot for me. It was overwhelming. And then I didn't like my job. It wasn't too bad though, but it was bad because I didn't know anybody. But once I started making friends, found my people, it was so much fun. And I also have a video, Living Black in Seattle. Yeah, I should check that out. That's really good. My homegirl who's in the video with me, I met her. Like, she literally like brightened up my life. Like, she's amazing. Yeah. And that's really my experience. And I've been in, you know, I signed a 4-year contract. So I have 2 more years. So, you know, still kind of deciding what I'm gonna do with that. But when the time comes, I'm using this Milk makeup, like it's like lips and cheeks. So I guess you can use like this lipstick, or you can use this lip cream blush. I don't know if that goes together since I just used powder, but then I'm putting cream on powder, so I don't really know, whatever. But yeah, I lived, so now I'm stationed somewhere else. So I lived in Seattle for like a year and a half before I got stationed somewhere else. And I learned to enjoy it. Like, I had so much fun there. Like, it's such a beautiful place. Like, even though it's cold, it rains a lot, it's during the summertime, it's like amazing. And once you find a good group of friends, you can always find something to do. So, but yeah, I hope I wasn't like all over the place. I feel like I spoke a lot about my experience through the military. If you want like more specific details, you know, feel free to ask. But That's just like an overview of everything. I try to be like super specific, but yeah, I've learned so much, met so many people, I've had so many experiences. Like I can't even explain. I've gone on so many trips paid by the military. It's just so much just because of my job, and I'm admin, so which is a very flexible job, by the way, to be able to do so much, and not a lot of jobs can do that. I hope this was helpful for you all. Me sharing my experience. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. I'm still on the journey to learning, you know. But yeah, I hope this helped you all. I hope you like my makeup too. This is pretty much it. This was the look that I would do when I went to the beach this past week. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, I'll catch y'all next video.